Hello and welcome again to the meeting agenda with Abdullah Ramdi. Today I have a new topic for you, topic which is specifically related to finance professionals all over the world, and that's why today's interview is in English. So today we're going to talk about how to be a valuable finance partner to your business organization. So on a daily basis, finance professionals provide support and advice to different business teams across the organization. And it is extremely important for us to make sure that they are happy with that support and they are recognizing our contribution for the company to achieve its target and for you as well to be able to take higher steps in the organization. To help you understand the best way to master the business partnering skill, I have asked one of the most experienced finance professionals in the field to join us today and share his thoughts around his topic. Today, I have the pleasure to have Mr. Hatem Ismail as our guest. Hatem has more than 26 years of experience in finance areas in different multinational, as he will explain to us in details in the interview. I have personally worked with Hatem for a couple of years, and I was really impressed by the way he managed his relationship with the different business partners. Currently, Hatem is the CFO and Managing Director of Bayer Egypt, a very unique and rare position which makes him experience business partnering from both sending and receiving sides, and also a great opportunity for us to understand from him how he is managing such a role. So, with no further delay, I hope you enjoy the interview. I hope you benefit from it. And please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, how you manage your relationship with your different business partners in your company. Hatem, good evening and welcome to the meeting agenda.
Thanks, Abdullah. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here with you today.
It's such a pleasure to have you, someone with a long and impressive career, to talk today about our subject, how to be a valuable finance partner. So before we start, I would just like to ask you in the beginning if you can give us a quick introduction about yourself.
Sure, but before I start, maybe thank you again for creating such a podcast. I know it's in the early days, but of your creation, but I like the idea. I wish this idea was there and these kind of resources were available when I started 26 years ago. But I think it's a pretty exciting time for the finance professionals these days, and I'm sure that your podcast is going to add significant value.
Thank you very much.
I'll try to keep it short. I started my career in finance 26 years ago. I started with PwC as an auditor. I spent a couple of years there. Started my study for CPA. And then after 2 years, I decided that audit is not my cup of tea. So I started to look for another opportunity. And at that point of time, I decided to move to automotive, to Daimler Chrysler. So I moved there. It was a kind of a harmonized move between PwC and Daimler Chrysler at that point of time. So it was not a surprise move, but it was a move that I was in need for. I was not really happy with my audit career. I think that I can deliver more outside the audit arena. And I took this move. And I spent almost 7 years with Daimler Chrysler, very conventional, very typical, very classical kind of accounting work for the first 3 years there. And then I started to discover my passion towards something different than accounting, which is the business partnering. I mean, the analytical work, being close to business. It didn't at that point of time it wasn't called at that point of time finance business partner, but it was called something else. But it was more towards commercial support. So I moved from accounting and started my journey in what they call planning and controlling department. Spent a couple of years there. I led the team, and then I decided to move again, to stretch my capabilities, to experience something different. And I found my passion in oil and gas at that point of time. So I started an amazing journey in oil and gas for almost 10 years in the Middle East and in Europe, mostly focusing on commercial support roles. So it was very much a finance business partner roles. My last post was in Milan. I was leading the European organization out of Milan, and it was basically supporting a big region around 1,200 employees there in almost 16 countries. And then after 10 amazing years, I decided to move on and start my career in healthcare. And at that point of time, J&J came to the screen as a potential candidate. And I joined J&J and I started knowing you at that point of time because you were there before me in J&J. And I took the role of the head of finance for North Africa out of Cairo. So I moved back home and I started a completely different industry, which is healthcare, which is pharmaceuticals. I spent there amazing 6 years, learned so much about pharmaceuticals and healthcare, and really belonging to an industry that have really human purpose behind it. And then I continued my journey after 6 years in J&J with another move towards healthcare. I would not call it a pure healthcare in Bayer because Bayer is more towards a life science. We call it a life science company because it's not only a pharmaceuticals, it's pharmaceuticals, crop science, and consumer health. So it has basically the three segments under one roof. I started a journey with them almost 3 years ago. And 6 months down the road, I took additional responsibility as well as the managing director for Egypt, which was a completely different ball game for me as a finance professional. It didn't come as a surprise. I was ready for that move. But yeah, since the last 2.5 years, I'm handling both roles. So it's quite a unique role that you are the CFO and you are at the same time the managing director of the company. So that's in a nutshell the last 26 years.
Amazing. A lot of industries, oil and gas, auto, pharmaceuticals. It's very impressive. I'm very interested to talk about your current situation because we don't see this every day, right? Someone who is managing a CFO and managing director in a big company such as Bayer. And it's also very relevant to our topic today because being on both sending and receiving sides of the business partner process, it must have given you a fresh perspective. So
Yes.
my question to you, Hatem, since you started this role, did it help you to get a fresh perspective, understanding the business needs and what type of supports that the business partners require from finance department?
Of course, I can't really stress on the fact that looking at what the finance is producing from the other side is a very valuable experience. It's quite a unique experience. I would not say, to be fair with you, that it's a dramatic shift in what I do, in my experience, in my role. I would mostly classify it as a normal evolution, and I will tell you about that in a bit more later. But it's for me a kind of a confirmation that what I chose to go through, the path that I went through, developing myself and working on my team, is paying off at the end of the day. For me, it wasn't, I would say, not a dramatic change. It's simply I had always the passion since I joined the finance teams. I was so much annoyed and irritated with the picture that the finance team is always being framed as a number crunching group of people and a bean counter, as they say in the US. And for me, that was a really irritating perception. And I was very determined to show that the finance team is adding much more value than just crunching the numbers. And I know that maybe when I started back 26 years ago, this was the reality in most of the cases, but it was underestimating the value of what we do as an accountant, which is something that maybe at that point of time, certain groups of people somehow have created such a reality, and based on that, the perception was built, but it was not true. And I wanted to change that. And I was very much conscious towards the about the gaps that we have from where we stand as a finance organization and where I want to be. And later when I became a team leader of what I want the perception of my team to be in the organization, I was very conscious to these gaps. And I was very deliberate about what I would do in order to close these gaps. And I think doing that consistently in so many companies, in so many industries, made the move to the not a co-pilot, a pilot role, being a managing director, is quite an appealing and normal evolution, as I said. That's why it was not a surprise, because I did so many things to get myself closer to this profile, and this somehow move was not a really something unexpected. So for me, it's quite clear. It's a journey that I was conscious about it. What exactly is needed from my side? How could I close the gaps? And I took it in a very conscious way. And it brought me where I am right now.
Hatem, I liked really what you said about how the finance department is perceived. And I think it's a mutual responsibility between business partners and finance partners. Where do we should place the finance contribution? But I think finance professionals also contributed to this, as you said. And we saw a lot of finance professionals who think that their role might be sitting behind computers, answering questions, compiling data, and sending reports. But this is not, in my opinion, is the right mindset. And this is would take us to the next question. Let's assume that I'm a finance partner, a young professional, and this is actually our objective. We want to share as much knowledge to the young professional who are starting their careers to start really on the right foot. So I want to ask you, what is the main characteristics or main mindset characteristics that a finance partner should have to be successful in their role, and also to be labeled as the go-to person for the business teams when they have any questions to the finance team? What are the main characteristics that we should have to get to this point?
I think framing it as a mindset would be quite a broad description, Abdullah. I think if I go with the same train of thoughts, I would put a mindset of a business leader as something that is holistically needs to be adapted in order to be successful as a finance business partner. And I know this is quite a broad description, and you might ask, or people might ask, how is this being adapted in real life, and from where shall we start? And I think one of the things that we need to consider, or people, finance professionals that are eager and willing, and I think one of the things that I would like to maybe highlight as well is that to move to a finance business partner, you need to check two things. You need to check whether you are willing to go that way, and you need to check whether you have the capabilities to go that way. There is nothing wrong continuing to be a financial accountant. I'm a CPA, so I'm accountant by education. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you are willing and you are capable of moving towards a finance business partner role, then that's the good start. Because simply going through the journey of delivering on the mindset of being a business leader, it will throw you out of your comfort zone a lot. It will make you very uncomfortable, and you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, I would say, so many times in your career. So willing is one of the things that I would say that you need to be honest with yourself. Are you just going with the trend, or are you really seeing yourself that you can contribute differently? Being an accountant, you will not be able to succeed in a finance business partner if we are not closing the books correctly. So there is nothing really bad. There is no bad or good. They're just a choice for you if you would like to move from transactional work towards something different. So if you are willing, then you need to work on your capabilities in order to deliver on this mindset. And that's something that I would say in simple terms, because people would think, okay, that's nice words, but how can we do this on the ground? I would say it's simply get closer to operation. Practice empathy. Empathy is one of the skills and leadership attributes that I'm passionate about, because it doesn't only bring the best out of you as a leader, but it brings the best out of you as a human being as well. So just get closer to the business, speak their own language, work on your business acumen skills, look into things in a holistic way, and make sure that you understand the big picture. That's the way to get yourself as part of the team and start to provide insights. If I can imagine, Abdullah, a finance business partner journey, if you tick both boxes, being willing and being capable, and then you start to work on your what they call the maturity curve of a finance business partner, which I would maybe summarize it in just 4 buckets. Simply understanding what exactly do you need to do as a finance business partner, start to provide valuable insights, and then start to influence people to follow you and to follow your recommendation, and then being the co-pilot. And co-pilot is the highest rank in the finance business partner. After that, it's a pilot, which is what you do as a business lead. So for me, if you understand where you sit in this maturity curve and you put your plans in a very clear and deliberate way of how you would like to move yourself from one stage to another, this is going to work. And just to provide people as well, because I think your podcast is mainly focusing on practical and real life examples.
Yeah.
If I would like to provide just maybe one example of how can you do that, and this is something that have worked really great for me in an amazing way to get closer to the business, is for each and every industry, force yourself to go out of the office and join the team on the ground. During the last 26 years until now, the experience that I got spending one day with the sales team, full day outside, is simply a priceless experience. You can't really get the insights of the business, build relationship with people, and get somehow things that are not on slides, are not in a business reviews. You are not going to be able to get this info and this insight unless you go with them. In oil and gas, I was up with them in the rigs. In the pharma world, I was up to going to the conferences, to the doctors, going to discussions about new deals. I was there. I was pushing myself. Yes, it's not a very comfortable thing at the start because you think that you are missing so much, but you are building that. So this is one of the things that I see. It has a magical effect on bringing you closer as a finance professional to the business organization, to the commercial organization, and making sure that you build relationship, which is highly needed in a relationship with a finance business partner. And then you take it from there as being a trusted partner. So for me, if anyone would say, from where shall we start? Go outside the office. Book yourself time each and every month to visit what they are visiting. If you are in a factory, go to the shop floor. If you are in oil and gas field, go up to the rig. If you are in pharmaceuticals, go out with the field visits with them. Do something and have this planned every month, and it will pay off.
Such a valuable advice, and I think it's a simple one, but it's I don't think a lot of finance professionals do this, and it actually connected to the empathy part that you said, Hatem. So in order for us to support the business, I need to understand what they are going through.
Exactly.
And thinking also about the financials, they are simply a mirror for the business transactions, right? So if you want to understand what's behind the numbers, you need to really understand the business transaction, what is going on. So I think this is a very valuable advice, and it summarizes what I wanted to say in this area. You want to add something?
Yes, actually, it came into my mind as well. One of the things that I'm trying to think about, quick wins that people can do in order to bring or to break this thin layer of ice between finance and operation and business. And one of the things that we did as well is to go for finance for non-finance. Bring your 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 commercial team to a meeting and start educating them about things that they are confused about. And trust me, they are not going to be open about areas that they are not comfortable about. And that's the nature of us as human. They
Yeah.
are not going to like being vulnerable about their knowledge about finance, because for them, they think that this is going to be turned against them as they go for the next business review. But to make them comfortable, and I was thinking about that when I implemented this, let's make it two ways. I will get to teach you something about finance, and you are going to be teaching me something about your product. So it should somehow balance the vulnerability on both sides. You are coming with the intention that I don't know what you are selling. Where are we from a competition? Where are we from a market share? What's then in the pipeline? How are we going to be evolving and growing during the next 2 years when it comes to specific products? Then they give you the insights. Then they give you the details. And in return, you give them something that you think that they are going to need running the business. And then you start to gain trust about, yeah, I don't know completely what you're talking about, and I need some education, and it works the other way as well.
I don't imagine a relationship between a finance partner and business without building trust. And it's a long path to go. So as you said, you need to work on it. So, and I think finance team, how you can gain this trust is through a couple of things. For example, as you said, Hatem, I need to understand the business. So when I'm talking with them, they know that I understand what I'm talking about. They need to really be confident in the data that I'm sharing. And the most important thing, of the finance professional, they need to really think about the concept of a supporting function, how finance is a supporting function. And this is important because I see sometimes people who think that the business should adapt to the finance, but I think it should be the other way around. As a finance professional, because we are the experienced people with the finance area, we need to adapt to the business needs. Of course, there are some exceptions when there is a financial risk or an exposure to our internal control environment, but it's a very important mindset that you have to be kind of a yes guy. And I think that's the helps building the trust with your team, because when they come to you, for example, for something and you say, no, this is not the right way to do it, they have the trust that you would have thought about everything before you say no. And this is the relationship that you need to build through the days with your business partners.
I agree 100%. And I think we have a perception that is sticking there that needs to disappear. And trust me, when you gain trust with the rest of the organization, with the business, with the commercial and marketing organization, that you will discover that they think about the finance as scary people. They get intimidated by finance. And that needs to change. That's one of the things that when I say, I mean, adapting the mindset of a business leader, is that when they come up with a proposal and they run it through you, asking, does this work or not? Then you shouldn't be answering the whole thing with just no and full stop. You will just need first of them to explain why not. And then you need to actually to go the extra mile, because they came to you with a proposal that they thought that it's going to work. And you said, yeah, but you missed this piece in the financial accounting, and we can't do this, but we can do another thing. That's the part that they would really appreciate at the end of the day. These are the insights on the second stage that you will need to work on, providing them with a solution, with a recommendation, one or two recommendations that it might work. Then you will start to discuss together. But this is building in their minds files, positive files, that when they come to you, you are not going to be a showstopper to them. Actually, you're going to be an enabler to them. You're going to help them to grow more. And if it really ends up that this is a no-go situation, then this is reality and nobody else can find something different. But it's just, they can't continue to think that they're going to come to you, and if it doesn't work, then it's full stop, and you're not giving them any kind of recommendation. So that's very key in building trust between both parties until the time that they are 100% trusting you. You are on the table, you are in every decision there, and you are not just complementing a process. It's not just a checker that, yeah, everything in the whole process works, and then let's go. Actually, you are part of the people that are inventing the idea itself, because they want you from the start there to make sure that your insights are embedded into the idea. This will not happen overnight. This is not a switch. This is a journey. And you need to be conscious about it, and you need to be deliberate of the actions that you're going to do in order to get there.
So what you're saying, be part of the solution, don't be the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think now I start to understand more what you said at the beginning, Hatem, of in order to be a finance partner or you want to work on the FP&A, you have to have some capabilities. And it's okay if you don't have these capabilities. And now when I think about this, working with people in this way, it needs certain skills, right? Person skills, soft skills, how you can work with people, how you can gain their trust, how can you be a good communicator. So now I understand more what you are saying. Maybe it's not for everyone. Somebody maybe is not able to build this relationship, or they are really, really good in crunching the numbers or working behind the screen. So I think if you want to move into this area, you have to think, am I able to also, beside my finance scope, work on my relationship with my partners, get the trust, be labeled as a valuable finance business partner. So the pieces are coming together now.
Good.
And the next part I want to talk about is, in order to get to this stage, I have to be also communicating in a certain way. And this is one of the skills that I think every finance partner should have, is how to talk to your business partners. I see a lot of finance professionals, and also me at the beginning of my career, I used to talk to them in the same way I talk to my finance professionals. I talk through numbers, I talk through data, through charts. And I think it's a very good skill if you are able to translate the finance language into the business language. Do you have any insights, or how do you usually do it in the meetings? How to explain what you want to say, how to get your idea through, but not in the finance complicated terms, but through the business terminology, let's say.
Talk their language. It makes a big difference when you use their terminology, when you use something that they use in the market in explaining the numbers. If you, for example, just go on a kind of a comparative analysis versus budget, and you start to mention that, yeah, I mean, cost of sales is up versus last year by 2 points, and just full stop. Or your marketing expenses are up to the roof and you're exceeding your budget by 15%, full stop. It doesn't add any value to them. It just actually intimidate them, because you are putting someone under the spotlight. And you don't want that. You don't want this to be the kind of relationship between you and the business. What I have started to explain at the beginning about gaining financial acumen, getting closer to business, getting insights about business that the slides are not on slides, are not on business reviews, stuff that are happening really behind closed doors. When you start to get insights about that, you are going to be able to put a narrative that really relates to what they are doing. It doesn't have to be that they are doing a great job. Your role is to highlight what are the risks there and what are the opportunities there. And if you are deviating from something, you need to highlight this quite early. But how do you communicate this? And this brings me to a very important topic, which is passion as well towards. It's the storytelling piece. And this is a practice, to be fair with you, that needs to be built over time. When you have the numbers, you can just go line by line saying, what do we have as an issue in each and every line in your P&L and balance sheet? But it doesn't add anything to the business. It doesn't give them what I would say. At the end of the day, you would like to go for a discussion with business. You would like to have a purpose. What exactly is your proposed outcome from this discussion? what exactly do you like them to feel and do? How would you like them to follow you? Because you're not going to just to list issues of ups and downs. You're going to do that, but in a way delivering a message of how we would like to go forward. And to do that, you need to understand the details of their business. You need to be part of their team, understanding exactly what happened in the past and how they are going to remediate in the future. And the numbers that you are preparing are reflecting the current status, and then you are going to put your proposal of how we are going to move forward. But it's the storytelling piece that makes a big difference. It's either you go full on one item at a time, or you put a story in place, you put a frame to it from the start. What exactly the message that you would like to do, and how do you would like them to feel and do, and what exactly kind of recommendation you would like to put on the table and start discussing.
So the story behind the numbers.
Yes, exactly. And this is maybe just one part, to be fair with you, because the skills that are required by finance business partners are different from being a very conventional accountant. Again, there is nothing really bad about being an accountant. This is a role that is needed. I was an accountant at a certain point of time. But if you would like to explore this area, if you would like to get closer to business, there are other non-technical skills. Let me put this way. I'm not going to argue about technical skills, because you should be coming from a solid background of financial performance. So we're not going to talk about financial expertise. We're not going to talk about analytical work. You know how to do comparative analysis. You know your business quite well. But what else would you, what brought you here will not bring you there. You need to do something different in order to get the message clear to the business and influence them to follow you. So it's about building relationship. Storytelling is just a piece of the puzzle, but building relationship and making sure that you practice empathy, working on your financial acumen and strategic view is as well one of the pieces that makes the storytelling piece. Because storytelling pieces for me is the final outcome of how do you think about the business? How do you do your interpretation about the numbers? How do you see the opportunity to move things differently in the future? And then you deliver the story. So this is for me is the end of the process, is not the beginning of the process, but you better have the capability to do this delivery the right way, or else it would somehow eat a lot of what you have done in the steps before that, making sure that you have your remediation plan, and you reach out to a proposal that you would like to put on the table and start discussing.
I agree. And I think even if you are not in the FP&A area, but even if you are in accounting or any other finance function, having the ability to change complexity to simplicity is something that's really, really valuable from business team. How can you move from tables and charts and data into insights for the business to use? And as you said, it's the final outcome. You need to work on it a lot, but it's one of the things that I think would help everyone progress in their careers, because also the feedback of the business partners for finance is very, very important if you want to go up. Hatem, right? And I don't think you would be in your position if your business partner find it hard to deal with you. So I really appreciate this feedback. And as our time is about to end, I want to ask you something which you mentioned at the beginning, which is your shift from audit to FP&A. Let's say that someone has the capabilities, has the right mindset, and want to do this move. It's not always easy, right? Do you have any advice for them? How can they make this shift a little bit easier? Something that we can work on a little bit earlier. For example, there are some certificates that try to make you a good management accountant. Would this help you a little bit?
I would not really put a lot of weight on the certification. Certification is needed. It adds to your knowledge pool. It makes you relatively having a much broader perspective about the finance. But it's not for me, and I'm talking about myself as Hatem. It's not the way to go. I think what you need to do if you have passion towards finance business partnering and you are in accounting or auditing, you would like to move, then start to look for opportunities to get yourself much closer to business. You might have an opportunity to go for a role. If you have the role there, that's good. But if you don't have the role, or you have the role but you are not selected there, you have so many steps that you can secure. And one of them is get close to business and ask to be involved in projects that are having a mix of business, supply chain, whatever. Get closer to these teams and through projects and try to understand the bigger picture. And if you repeatedly show interest in that, they were going to appreciate this a lot, because you have to we're dealing with humans. We're not dealing with machines. If you genuinely show interest in what they are doing, they are going to open doors for you. So show the interest in what the others are doing. Try to get yourself involved as much as possible. Raise up your hand saying, I would like to be part of this project. I would like to expand next to your accounting or audit role, but I would like to get this experience until you have a role that is open. And here it's going to be a choice. This role might come as the ideal role with an upgrade and with a promotion or whatever. And this is quite critical for especially for young people that are starting their career. They would like to show themselves that they are progressing. So each and every move is a way up on the ladder. But you'll have as well to be conscious that, I might take a lateral move. I might even go one step, and I did that before, one step back at certain point of time to gain certain skills is a wise idea. It carries some risks, but at the end of the day, you have to evaluate whether this role, this opportunity, provide what is needed for you to achieve your long-term objective. If it's there, then you go for this risk. It might work, it might not. But based on your assessment at the start, you see that you have the need in order to gain the experience that sits with that role. You go for it regardless whether it puts you one level up, lateral, or one step down.
And looking at it from the other side, do you think it's not important for a finance partner to start in accounting? Can they already start in FP&A directly, or do you think it's a must?
I think it can be done. To be fair with you, I had this idea in one of the companies that I worked in, was to bring engineers to FP&A and business partner.
Really?
And start to put them on a crash course when it comes to basic accounting. And I mean, the engineers, they are quite analytical by the nature. But I would like to bring them closer to the finance world and get them the foundation right. And I didn't manage to do this, to be fair with you, but I was very close to that. And to be fair, it was a win-win situation for them and for me, because bringing an engineer, bringing someone from the kitchen itself, in someone that is very close to operation, so they are going to provide insights instantly, and they are not going to be just providing insights for their area, but for the whole team. So if they are part of a bigger team, then the others are going to look at them saying, educate me, you are now part of the team, educate me, I would like to have part of this knowledge. And then it would work the other way. So tell me a bit more about the details of the finance, the closing of the books. What do exactly look like? Because they are not really doing that. So that's not a high risk area. They're not closing the books, but they need to understand the numbers. Where are they coming from, and which areas that we need to look at to make sure that you have clean numbers in order to tell your story right. So yes, I think it's doable. It's not a conventional thing, but it's all about the mindset. You see now more than ever CFOs that are not finance background.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? And it doesn't mean that, the CFO would come in and they are going to make sure that they are going to close the books for a 100 billion. They are not going to do. That's not their job. Their job is to run the show, is to run the whole organization. So it's about the leadership. It's the strategy, about the leadership itself. So I think it's doable, but it needs to be tested.
Amazing. I would love to see how this engineering initiative went. I think that's heavy artillery in the finance department if you have them.
Yes. I will do it one day.
Yeah, definitely. Just thinking outside of the box, I love it. Hatem, you provided us with really a lot of insights to the point, and I think if anyone listened to this episode and started applying this advice, it would help them a lot to start on the right foot. So I really want to thank you for your time. I really want to thank you for sharing your knowledge, and we would love to have you again anytime you would have anything that you would like to share with our finance professional. That would be an honor for us.
Sure. Thanks, Abdullah. Great to
Thank
be
you
here
very
today.
much.
Thank you.